Folks, we're almost done. We've got 2 more weeks. I don't know about you, but I'm so excited. Okay, I might be a little scared too. Are any of you even old enough to remember this show? Anyway, this is the week where your semester is pretty much made or broken. Have you taken the time to work on the paper over the last few months? Have you taken my advice and followed my sample? This is where I get scared. Dare I even look? Okay, now that we're through with that, let's check out the material for the week, okay? You know the drill. Here's the weekly announcement, including a very clearly stated due dates, okay? So the Unit 3 argument essay paper is due no later than 11:59 p.m. on April 27th, okay? Same kind of due date, except this time, if you try to turn it in late, it will be a 0. I will not accept it. The Unit 4 argument research presentation will be due the following Sunday, May the 4th, which is Star Wars Day for you lovely geeks. And again, no later than. If you try to turn it in later, it will not be accepted, and it will be a 0. Please make sure that you know that. Excuse me. No extensions, no exceptions, no excuses. We have all of our material down here, and as you can see, we have everything to be submitted, including our 2 attachments. Here's the PowerPoint, which we're going to be going over next video, not this one, as well as the last time I'm going to be posting the Unit 3 assignment, or the Unit 3 Argumentative Research Paper Directions and Sample. There we go. As you can see, it's going to be due on April 27th, again at 11:59. Do not be late. Here it is again, okay? Excellent. Now, once we're through that, we go back here, we click on the 102 Masterclass schedule, which we scroll all the way down to Unit 4, which is Week 10. And you can see that there's 5 documents to review and 2 assignments to submit. But before anything else, you kind of need to know I cannot accept the final paper late. The due date is Sunday, April 27th, 2025, by 11:59 p.m. Eastern. No ifs, ands, or buts, please. I need these in so I can grade them and get them done prior to the semester ending. If you're late, I'm late. If I'm late, then my department is late. If my department is late, then my campus is late. If the campus is late, then they're going to go looking for someone to blame, and it sure as hell won't be you. Get the point? No extensions, no excuses, no exceptions. This will be the next to last week of the semester, and I will have roughly 100 papers to grade by the end of the week to submit final grades. And that's even before I get all of your presentations. So I can't accept papers 2 or 3 or 4 days later that week. Period. Please don't put it off. I'd hate to see people get burned for extreme procrastination. Alright, this is going to be a long video, so enough of that. Let's just jump right in and take a look at the Argumentative Research Paper Overview, which we're going to go through really quickly. The things that you're going to need to know, hey, 5 to 8 minutes for your presentation, okay? Here's the things that you have to include. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different bullet points, okay? We're going to go over this more next week to make sure that you have everything under control, but this is a good place to start. You will need some visuals in there, and down here is actually a very comprehensive and helpful selection of links. The one you're probably going to want to pay attention to, which we'll talk about again later, is the using technology to present information, okay? We'll touch on that after the fact. Now, I said 5 to 8 minutes. Please don't panic. Trust me when I tell you this. 5 to 8 minutes when scripting your video is actually very quick. There are so many times this semester I think that I'm killing it on time, and then I look down and I'm shocked to find out I'm already at 12 minutes. Don't think 5 to 8 minutes is ridiculous, because it will go so very quickly and you won't even realize it. So look, we can go over the other 4, but I have something better for you. I mean, honestly, in how to begin a speech effectively, we've already talked about this. It's basically hooks. We know that. Organizing the argumentative research speech, it's all about transitions, as is this next one, transitions and signposts. And then finally, citing sources in a speech, you kind of know how to do that. So what's this better thing of which I speak? Well, I put together a PowerPoint presentation, which I'm going to review with you. This is from my online asynchronous sections because it mentions all about putting together videos and things, as well as stuff that you would need to know if you were giving presentations in class. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to show you exactly what it should look like. And that way you have 2 weeks of me presenting a PowerPoint in a video so you can kind of see where it's going to go. First, make sure you have a pretty opening slide like this. Then, well, how are we going to hook our audience? Well, I prefer to ask a question by how many of you are not looking forward to your final presentation? How many of you are just a tad nervous at the prospect of speaking in front of your peers and instructors? Possibly even invited industry professionals, but that's for other courses, of course. Finally, how many of you are just downright terrified? Yep, you're not alone. Honestly, if you are going to Google up Americans' #1 fear, you're going to get something called glossophobia returning. And that is the fear of public speaking. Statistically, people would rather die than speak in public. Let that sink in. People would rather their lives be snuffed out instead of them speaking in public. To me, that's insane, okay? It's actually not all that tough. But hang on. This is an online class. Does that mean I'm going to make you, drive to campus and present in front of a classroom of crazy people staring at you? Of course not. I wouldn't do that. That would be way too much pressure. You are going to have to film a video or put a voiceover over top of visuals. But you can do that all from the privacy of your own home because this is an online asynchronous class. Regardless, you can do it. So, how do we start? Well, first, you got to understand what goes into the presentation. And after that, you can kind of figure out what you want to stress about. So once again, the requirements are a 5 to 7. I know the other thing said 5 to 8. Either one works for me. It's whatever. A 5 to 7 minute presentation with visuals. So I want to see something like Google Slides, Microsoft PowerPoint, Canva, Prezi, anything else that you can use to present your material, okay? You are going to either have a little inset in the corner of your screen that's going to show you on video, which I would actually prefer because I want to see what you look like. But worst case scenario, I'm going to get the voiceover so you're explaining the PowerPoint just like I am right now, okay? You will not be reading your research paper. This is not a Sunday afternoon at the library. You are going to be presenting your information very clearly, but you are not just going to be droning on about this paragraph and that paragraph. So, in order to get this moving, think about the 3 basic time frames we're going to be talking about. Before the big moment itself, and after the big moment. Now, before the big moment, well, again, understand the specifics and requirements of what is needed. Once again, 5 to 7 minutes in length. You will have to have visuals, just like a PowerPoint, okay? Google Slides, anything of that kind. You will also have to have a minimum of a voiceover. However, I would absolutely love to see a video in the corner. That way I can see you actually reading this, which is fantastic. This way, once you do this, you can kind of figure out the technology requirements. And those of you who have already contacted me might be a little bit worried, like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Don't worry. This stuff's very easy, okay? So, understand who your audience is. For you, it's going to be basically me and the rest of the people in your class. But you don't know anybody in your class because it's all online. So, what you're going to do is pretty much focus on me. What do you know about me, basically? It's the most important part of any lecture because if you know who your audience is and you know what they're expecting, you can deliver it and have them be as into your presentation as they could possibly be. If you are ignoring them and you are going beyond where they are supposed to be, they're going to completely zone out and forget about you. So you know I like to joke around. You know I like to have fun. You know I like to have pop culture references. Maybe you can work some of them into your presentation. Make this somewhat entertaining. That is helpful. Regardless of whether you like these videos or not, you have to admit that I've at least tried to make them somewhat viewable, right? Plan out how you want your presentation to look. That means using visuals. You are still the main attraction. But if you take a look, and forgive me, I'm going to go back a couple slides to show you this. I've got one image here. 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 Okay, so basically what I'm saying is have your visuals out there so you can see exactly, that your your audience is not being forced to become a reader. Nobody wants to see text-heavy slides. They want to see things that attract their attention. Pick an appropriate design, like I did. I have this. I like to call this the art gallery, right? There's a nice blank canvas on the back. There's the wooden stage up front. It makes it look really relaxed and easy to read. Light background, dark text. Very easy. Because honestly, your slides should be easy to read. Ladies and gentlemen, I am practically blind, okay? So that's not me being funny. That's legitimate. Like I had an optical stroke in my left eye. I can't see out of it. So when I'm looking, I need to be able to see things pretty clearly. So don't clutter the screen with useless information. Don't throw all this text out there just to have it on there. Have what you need and need what you have, okay? Don't overuse graphics and keep animations to a minimum if you're using them at all. What do I mean by that? I put up this image here. Everybody here read the title and now they're just listening to me. Okay, great. But honestly, it's kind of boring, right? So if I put this up, all of a sudden your brain registers that there's something new. So you're reading this, and once you get to the end of the sentence, you're thinking, great, okay, well, now I at least know what he's talking about, so I can kind of zone out and play on my phone. But as soon as I start to say, hey, I want to dress this up, I don't want to make it too text heavy, I'm going to put some well-chosen graphics on here. Unfortunately, the second I put graphics on here, we have a lot of things to look at. So now, your eyes are probably starting with the gears and you're working your way around in a clockwork motion to find, oh, look, there's Homer and Bart. So you're doing all this. But honestly, once you get into PowerPoint and you start to find out you can do other things with it, well, I can make it do all sorts of crazy stuff. And at this point, I can tell you my bank account number and my PIN number on my debit card, and you wouldn't pay attention to me. Why? Because you are distracted by all this garbage on the screen. Don't do that, okay? That will just upset your readers. So, in order to get around that, practice. Anybody know who this dude is? Allen Iverson, in one of the most infamous press conferences of all time in the NBA. Just Google up Allen Iverson practice. Trust me. In any case, don't just start your presentation and wing it. Okay? For me, I can wing this because I've done this presentation like 3 dozen times. Okay? But for you guys, script it out. Figure out what you're going to do. Because practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. And yes, we talk about practice. Gather your equipment up. Okay, like I said, when I'm scripting my weekly videos for you, I do indeed have a script that I am reading as I am going through the material. For you, if you are a little bit worried about that, deal with note cards. They are smaller, they are more brief, and you won't be actually reading anything. They're just going to remind you of what you're supposed to be talking about. Keep them organized, okay? Keep them brief. They are not script cards because, honestly, I want you to keep your eyes on the audience. So, with technology, figure out how you're going to film this video. Are you using your laptop? Are you using your tablet? Are you using your phone? Don't use your phone. You've got a lot of information that you can really understand with all of the material. So please make sure, ladies and gentlemen, you understand exactly what you're going to be doing and how you're going to be doing it. But the thing is, with technology, whenever you use it, expect it to break. Make sure that you charge your tablet or you charge your laptop. Excuse me. That way, you don't just run out of battery power halfway through. Make sure that if you are using your parents' desktop, since nobody under the age of like 20 has a desktop anymore, you have the right equipment there. You're able to translate it into what I can read or view on Delaware Tech servers, okay? So here's the thing. When you do have this material, expect it to break. Don't expect technology to help you out completely. Because when you rely on technology for the most part, it's going to end up screwing you at the end. So, have a plan B, okay? Dress for success. Now, I realize that some of you are thinking, well, hang on. That doesn't make any sense, but it does. Because honestly, if you are dressed accordingly, the audience will treat you accordingly. If I walked into the front of my class in a pair of shorts and a tank top with flip-flops on, nobody would pay attention to me. They might think I'm high, okay? But when I walk in with a button-down shirt, a pair of slacks, and a nice pair of shoes, all of a sudden, yeah, he's the teacher. Okay, great. Clothes make the man, or clothes make the woman. That's been said for decades and all of that. So by that it means if you dress the part, they will treat you as the part, okay? Now, I found this image a long time ago, and I cannot find one that is appropriate for women. I apologize, but I'm sure that you can extrapolate because you are all very intelligent women. But this is a good indicator of what clothes are acceptable and what clothes are unacceptable for presentations. First, I would say streetwear and casual are not very good. Because streetwear just makes it look like you threw on whatever was at the foot of your bed and went outside. That's not something that really elicits a lot of faith in your abilities to explain to me what you're talking about. Casual is a little bit more dressed up, but honestly, you could easily be going outside and cutting the grass in this. Definitely not something that I would listen to. Business casual, I think, is okay in the hot weather. However, I think that you could always dress up a little bit more because honestly, if you dress like this, I'm going to ask you where in Target I have to find something, okay? I happen to think that smart casual is probably your best bet. I like this because there is no doubt that you are trying to impress your audience. There is no doubt that you have dressed up beyond what you normally do, and you are trying to both be comfortable and professional at the same time. I'm good with that. For me, however, I was a Catholic schoolboy. I'm used to ties. You know, my father is old school, so I pretty much wear suits if I have to. Business informal is actually a really good way to present, simply because of the fact that now there is absolutely no question. You are definitely somebody who put time and thought into what's about to happen. Black tie semi-formal, I think, is a really bad idea, because if you show up wearing a tuxedo, I'm going to think that you are a British undercover agent. All right? That is overkill. So, don't do it. But wait! Aren't we an online class? Yeah, you are. But honestly, if you're going to film the video, we're going to be able to see you from at least the chest up. So, if that's the case, you want to dress in a way that makes it look like, hey, I'm professional even when I'm at home. Take a look at these two pictures. The woman on the right, you know, she's got a coat on, she's got a nice blouse on, she's got the plants behind her. That looks like somebody who is prepared for her meeting, okay? Yes, we see the poor dog with the cone of silence underneath the desk. We see the other dog on the outside. They're not really bothering this image, so I still see this woman as very professional. However, take a look at the dork on the right, okay? This guy looks like he probably just rolled out of bed. His hair's a mess. His shirt is wrinkled. He's got crap all over the back of his image there. Overall, it's a really bad way to present yourself, okay? So, treat this like a virtual job interview. Make the best impression you possibly can, okay? So again, take a look at this image. So what you see is a lot of crap. However, what does the audience see? Now, yes, she has got a chair on top of a table, which is weird. But that just elevates her laptop to chest height. That way she can use it. And as you can see, she's got a pretty decent top on, okay? She's got everything cleared out behind her, so it actually looks relatively clean. However, if you look at the floor, if you look at underneath the table, if you look at on the table, it is a holy mess. She has kids. It is obvious. But those kids are not here. And I'm really hoping those are bicycle shorts, because otherwise, okay. But we don't see that, right? So, honestly, as long as your audience can't see the mess in your house, the audience will never know. Always make sure that you set the scene before hitting connect or record. So, a few tips on setting the scene. First, make sure that you are well lit, okay? I have a lot of people who like to sit in front of their windows, and it washes them out completely. All I see is this just dark visage. That's because all the light coming in from the outside is blowing out your camera. Sit somewhere where you can actually see you on the video, okay? Make sure that the image in your preview reflects exactly what you want your audience to see. Again, clean up behind you. What I have seen to really great effect, I've had certain students film their final presentations in their backyard or on their front porch. Because honestly, when you're outside, there's that really wonderful natural light. There's that beautiful image of, pastures and trees and bushes, and it's a wonderful thing. You don't have to worry about cleaning your house. You don't have to worry about, crap in the background or anything like that. If you're going to choose a virtual background, choose it well, okay? When I'm on my Zoom calls with students, I'm showing you my personality. I've got like Star Wars backgrounds. I've got a Nirvana background. I've got all sorts of things that make it look fun, because honestly, at that point, I just want you to be comfortable. But when I'm trying to present, I might blur my background. I might put like a Delaware Tech background on there, something like that that's going to show you professionalism. So whatever you do, I want you to pay attention that the image you are putting forth is the image that you mean to put forth, okay? Make sure you're in an area that is easily controlled. So if you're going to be doing this in your room or the dining room or the kitchen or whatever, if there's a door there, close it. Make sure there's nobody in there with you. If there are other people around the house, warn them that you're about to record. That way mom or dad or husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend or kids don't come running in and asking you questions while you're in the middle of your recording. Okay? Put up a sign if you have to. I've done that. Silence your cell phones. Oh my God, this is something that I consistently forget to do. So make sure that you have them off or silent, okay? And if you have pets, just understand that might pop up at the worst possible moment. I usually do my videos for my classes online on Fridays, when I know that my kids are at school and my wife is at work. So there's nobody else in the house but me. Today, I'm really risking it because my wife's upstairs watching television and my kids are running around because every child in the world has off today. Well, in this country, has off today, okay? And then finally, please don't have TV on in the background. Do not have music playing in the background. I can't believe I actually have to remember to say that sometimes, but I do. Review your presentation, okay? No one really likes listening to themselves, or worse yet, watching themselves, but make sure that the camera caught what you mean for it to catch. Maybe it shifted a little bit. Maybe you hit it. Maybe the audio cut out. Maybe the background changed accidentally. Maybe somebody had a filter on that you forgot that you had, and now you look like an owl or a unicorn. Make sure that you also see that any ambient noise wasn't picked up, like the garbage truck outside or your mom yelling at your brother or sister. You may have nailed it on the first take, but you may still have to edit a little bit or possibly refilm the whole thing. This is your presentation. Make sure that you are presenting yourself as you intended. On the big day itself, when you are recording this, just remember to breathe. See? A watch just went off. I don't even know where the hell that is because I don't have a watch like that. Remember to breathe. A slow, steady series of breaths will allow you to maintain the rhythm of your speech and keep you from fainting. Equally, you won't have to sit there and say, no. Breathe. Take your time. Don't rush through it. You've got 5 to 8 minutes. Also, maintain eye contact. Mr. Christopher, once again, we're on an online class. You're right. So for that, my friends, think of the camera lens as the audience's eyes. Because if you are filming yourself, you want to be sure that you're looking straight into the camera as you're talking. Okay? It's much easier that way. When you're in front of an audience, if they think you care about them, they're going to care about you. Watch your tone. As you can see, I like to vary my tone a little bit. Sometimes I'm very honest. Sometimes I am very funny. Whatever it is, make sure that you don't just talk like this, and that way you're just presenting your material, because if you do that, you're not going to really get very far, and the audience is going to be bored off their butts. Change your voice up a little bit. Always have a plan B, just in case. If you are afraid that this didn't upload correctly, email me, okay? Make sure that you have this. Upload it to YouTube and send a link. You know, that's where I put all of my weekly videos, as you well know. Best thing in the world is to remember not to panic. Everybody makes mistakes, including me. I can't tell you about the times that I've had to re-record entire videos because of one small thing. Don't panic. Show respect for your audience, obviously. Do not play around on your phone or your tablet. Do not be eating while you're presenting, things like that, okay? Give your full attention to each and every presenter. And now that you've done all that, sit back and relax. Enjoy the rest, okay? So, understand the specifics. 5 to 8 minutes. You need visuals. At best, you need a recording of who you are so I can see what you look like. At worst, you just need a voiceover, okay? Verify your final product. Make sure it's designed cleanly. Practice it before you record. Present yourself. Make sure that you're dressed accordingly and your material will follow suit. Show respect for your fellow presenters and the audience themselves. And then finally, don't forget to ask if there are any questions. That's always helpful. Now, you are doing this online, so you might actually have maybe over here your email address. Hey, if you have any questions, email me at, okay? That works. Now, as I said, the bottom of this page here has these wonderful links, and the one that you're really going to want to pay attention to is using technology to present information. When you click on it, yeah, you can use Office 365 or Google. You can talk about PowerPoint or Google Slides. They're great. Here's some places that you can get image and sound. Okay. But screencasting is pretty much what most of you are going to panic about. If you're an iPad person, you can do that here. If you are just like me, I use I use one of these two. I forget which one. I actually have, it used to be called Screencast-O-Matic. I know that. And I have the paid, membership because I need to go over 15 minutes. So it's great. You know, you can use any of these. Let me know if you have any issues. Why, yes, my friends, we have assignments. Here are the assignments, because honestly, these are the biggies. Please remember the argumentative research paper assignment is due no later than 11:59 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, April 27th. If it comes in later than that, it will be a 0. Okay? If I were you, I'd scroll down here to the process and resources and click on the research paper rubric and take a look at exactly how you will be graded. Remember when I keep telling you, hey, you forgot your headers. Hey, you forgot your headers. Hey, you forgot your headers. Guess what? It's actually here on the rubric, the criteria. If you do not have the focus of headings, you will automatically not meet expectations. That is a 17.5 point loss. Down here, development, I'm asking you for 7 to 8 pages. If you do not have 7 full pages at minimum, you're going to lose 22 points. That's huge, okay? Obviously, these are transitions. Most of you will get this one correct. But down here, use of source material. Number 1, do you have a minimum of 6 sources? You should, because we've been talking about that. You know that I want 7 or more. Also, if you're using far too many direct quotes and not enough paraphrases, that's where you lose points as well, okay? Review your rubric, make sure that you're looking through it, submit the paper, and you're going to be in solid shape. Then, of course, the other one is the Unit 4 speech outline, which when you click on it, you will see that there's a planner here. What's the planner look like? It is a traditional, hierarchical Harvard outline, okay? So if you just follow through here, you can actually see yourself writing the script for your presentation. Just plug in your information here, let yourself know what's going to be in there, what needs to be presented, how it needs to be presented, and honestly, this should be a pretty easy thing for you to do afterwards. Yes, you can turn this one in a little bit late if you have to, although I don't think you need to, but you still cannot turn the paper in late at all. Guess what, folks? 2 weeks left. Can you believe it? You've almost made it. For this week, get your paper perfect and submitted. That's your main goal. Next, do your outline. This will only help you. Once the submission is complete, you can put your feet up and relax, okay? You've earned it at this point. See you next week for our final week.